So you want to start thinking through what size pots you want. I would say usually you want to try and get those started in about a one gallon or so when you're up potting them from wherever you actually started those cuttings, if you started the cuttings, or if you just bought them in a 1 gallon. You usually want to go up at least, I'd say, to a 3 gallon. Some folks say, listen, I'm just going to go to a 5. That's not a problem. You just need to remember, you need to make sure that you're going to have enough soil to be able to have soil for each and every one if you're doing a 5 gallon. That might end up being one less year that you have to up pot, but what's your ultimate goal and plan? So you want to think through that. So for now, let's get the soil into this and we'll get the Strawberry Verte up potted.
Dean Family Acres.
Alright guys, back again. We're going to be up potting, so hopefully you'll follow along so you can see exactly which varieties we're up potting this time, and planning to keep in a pot at least for a year or so, and then hopefully eventually get most of these that we're up potting planted into the ground in the near future. Guys, many of you might have figs, many of you might like figs, but a lot of people don't realize that there are actually thousands of fig varieties out there. And first is one that we actually rooted. You see it's done very, very well. I mentioned in another video about you potentially could tie them up so that they could grow more vertically. And this Strawberry Verte is a perfect example of that. This year, hopefully it will fork here. If it doesn't, then we'll prune it and allow it to fork. This is about the height that we want it to get to. We're going to let it continue to grow upright, more in a tree form. We'll see when it does actually fork and continue to keep this stake. So that'll be something a little bit unique with this Strawberry Verte. As y'all saw in our other videos, our soil mixture ends up being some compost, some topsoil, perlite, and some pine bark soil conditioner. You do not want your fig plants to be in a really, really dense mixture, but you also don't want them to drain super, super fast because you'll have to water them all the time. Sometimes folks think through and they're like, hey, if I'm gonna plant this mixture where the roots will be able to grow really, really well and won't be super compact, then I'll just do that and I'll set up a drip emitter system. Is that a good idea? Well, it certainly could be a good idea, but one thing you need to think about with drip emitter systems are they are much better than just going out there squirting them with the hose for whatever amount of time and everything just running through. But the downside of the drip emitters is that they actually just drip in one spot. So you're going to drip, 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 and they just go in one spot. So even if you had, let's say, 2 emitters, they're going to be super concentrated. That might be a little bit better than one, but who wants to set up multiple emitters in one pot? So you kind of want to think through that, how things are going to be set up, how you're going to water these if you've got them in a pot, because you certainly can't just completely ignore them. Our fix in some instances has actually been to put them under a tree. I know that's not necessarily optimal and we probably don't get the best fruiting, but we don't have to stay on top of watering them nearly as much, and they seem to grow pretty decent that way. That's definitely not a long-term solution, but if you've got more than one and you're just trying to kind of maximize your capacity and what you can handle, that's certainly an option. You do want this to be a fairly sunny location. You do not want it to be completely in shade, but you want to make sure that you are having enough sun to get that growth. So certainly consider that when you're deciding exactly what you want to do. All right, let's get back to up potting this Strawberry Verte. So you want to start thinking through what size pots you want. I would say usually you want to try and get those started in about a one gallon or so when you're up potting them from wherever you actually started those cuttings, if you started the cuttings, or if you just bought them in a 1 gallon. You usually want to go up at least, I'd say, to a 3 gallon. Some folks say, listen, I'm just going to go to a 5. That's not a problem. You just need to remember, you need to make sure that you're going to have enough soil to be able to have soil for each and every one if you're doing a 5 gallon. That might end up being one less year that you have to up pot, but what's your ultimate goal and plan? So you want to think through that. So for now, let's get the soil into this and we'll get the Strawberry Verte up potted. Ooh. Worm. Again, just disturb the roots just a little bit. I know y'all like to see the roots, so I'm coming. Again, just think through what angle you want this to grow at. You want to grow straight up. How about y'all? But the older I get, the more and more of those angles kind of throw me for a loop. Alright guys, you can see there, we got the Strawberry Verte up potted. Even was able to keep our stake, which works well. This year we might actually need to get a little bit longer stake, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We still got a little pliability up here. Speaking of time frame, you need to think through exactly what's your time frame on each one of these fig varieties. If you start them from a cutting, certainly you should be careful when you're up potting those. Y'all have seen those videos from us before, because I know in the past, especially when the plants are super fragile right after rooting, you really can lose some in that transition. I like to get them up to this one gallon size pot, have them there for about a year, and then transition them into a 3 or 5 gallon pot. So if you're thinking about that from your time frame, first 3 months, 4 months, depending on how long it takes you to root, you will then up pot into a 1 gallon size, keep them in that for about a year, and then you will want to up pot them into the size we're doing here. We're doing the 3 gallon at a minimum, I would say. And then you want to keep them in that for about a year. And then if it's a variety that can do well in the ground in your zone and area, then you certainly could put it in the ground that next year. So thinking about that time frame in general, you're looking at 2.5 to 3 years before you actually put it in the ground. Is this set in stone? Absolutely not. If you've got a variety that's super vigorous, or you've just had great success for one and it's taken off, after year 1 you certainly could put it in the ground, but I wouldn't do it any sooner than that. Now let's check out the second variety. Alright guys, so those are the 3 varieties that we were able to get up potted today. We got the Strawberry Verte, we got LSU Tiger, and we got Strawberry, and we got Raspberry Latte. So those 3 varieties will be added to our collection. We had them, but you never know when you never know how things are going to survive, etc. I do think that there are a couple that didn't make it through winter, but that's okay. We'll always have other opportunities to trade and share with others, and them share with us. It's one of the great things about the fig community. There are a lot of people out there that want to charge you a lot, and I totally understand for them being able to get some funds back, but it's always nice to be able to trade with friends as well. I'd encourage you to support folks either way, whether you really want a variety and someone has it, or you're looking to barter or trade with someone. Always great opportunities out there. Thanks so much. Alright guys, I want to give you a little update on that Strawberry Verte that we actually grew from a cutting a couple of years ago, and maybe why and or why not things have not gone quite exactly to plan, but it is what it is. So check this out and we'll let you see exactly how things are going. So this is the Strawberry Verte that we up potted, and the videos we just showed you, and you can see here it has not grown a whole lot, but it has looked healthy and everything. It also has not produced, and I honestly think a lot of that is just because of not staying on top of watering. Anytime that we up pot or have things potted in general, you can certainly something got that one. That's a Beers Black there, one of the few left. Anyway, back to our Strawberry Verte and quitting getting distracted. Anytime you get them potted, you really have to have a good way to water and stay on fertilization, etc. Honestly, if you can plant a variety that will grow in ground, that is probably your best option, and this one should be going in the ground this spring. We're trying to narrow down our list. We're going to put about 3 or 4 more in the ground. So ultimately, Strawberry Verte has done well. It survived another year. Root system certainly has to be stronger because it has produced some pretty decent leaves and growth from that, but I would not say that it has just completely taken off. But overall, we will be getting it as well as a couple other varieties in the ground in the spring. And we're in Zone 8A, if you don't remember, in the upstate of South Carolina. And overall, we've had some pretty good growth on a couple of different varieties, some more than others, but honestly, I think getting them in ground and making sure that they have some form of irrigation. If you want to see some serious growth, you definitely need to water. Not a whole lot, unlike muscadines that y'all know that we have. If you don't water them, you don't stay on top of them, yes, they'll grow and they'll eventually produce, but it's going to take quite a while longer. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. When you subscribe, don't forget to ring that bell like. That's right, Mike Tyson did in the 1980s. Thanks so much guys. Y'all have a wonderful and blessed day.